You look at him last night. I didn't take away from it that it makes Jimmy Butler expendable because Jimmy Butler's been balling. The fact of the matter is when he's been on the court, he's been better than anybody else that they've had this season. Jimmy Butler has been big time. Jimmy Butler's looking for that 5-year max deal from somebody. I don't think he'll get that. But the bottom line is that that's the kind of thing that he's looking for, and it ain't going to be from Minnesota. But when you look at Derrick Rose, don't tell me what you see a guy that makes Jimmy Butler expendable, particularly if he's healthy, because the one thing that we need to say is that Derrick Rose ain't going to be healthy. And I'm not saying he's going to get hurt, like literally he's just going to fall out tomorrow. I'm saying he is not at the stage in his career where he can go out there and give you 35 minutes a night, be that starting point guard for you, et cetera, et cetera. One of the reasons that you see people cheering him on so much is because they know how hard he worked, the kind of work that he put in just to get himself healthy compared to what he looked like last year. Remember, he only played 25 games last year, had to leave the Cleveland Cavaliers for a little while for personal reasons. But psychologically as well as physically, he's had an uphill climb
and it
since
seems
his days
when he
in
left
Chicago.
the Cavs, it was over.
That's
because
right.
It's like you can't stay on the court, you can't stay healthy. The game, much like what happened to Carmelo, a little bit different in terms of style of play, but he dribbles a lot. He monopolizes the ball. The game has changed out from under his feet in like the 8 years, almost a decade since that traumatic injury, the ACL. So you thought at this point, and you're leaving the team and you have personal stuff going on, it just looked like the end. The moment last night was about Derrick Rose. Obviously, congratulations, Derrick Rose. The big takeaway is it's about Karl-Anthony Towns. It's not about
In terms
Rose.
of what?
It's not about Butler.
In terms of what?
Karl-Anthony Towns plays better when Jimmy Butler isn't
Karl-Anthony
there.
Towns, just the previous game against the Los Angeles Lakers, had 25 and 16 with Jimmy Butler on the court. Now, the
he's a great player.
The previous games he was struggling, but you know what? I get tired of Jimmy Butler getting blamed for that nonsense. Here's the reality of the situation. Think about this. If you're, as you would call, because I'm not as corny as you, and I'm not going to sit up there.
You're not as corny? You think in a corny contest I beat you?
In a corny, every
you don't
night,
even have to try.
every day and every night.
Don't even have to try.
I'm still working on your style. First of all, I'm proud to see you have on a different kind of tie. Congratulations with that. Here's the reality of the situation. When you look at Jimmy Butler with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and to use your words, if you're a baller, you know how Mike's like that. Baller.
That's
right. Excuse me. If a guy calls you out, and basically this reports all over the place, he don't have but so much respect for you because he don't think you committed and he don't know if you're that dude. How you going to react to that? You know what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to ball. You ain't supposed to shrink. You understand? Beneath that kind of pressure, you're supposed to rise up to it. Excuse me, who the hell are you talking to? This is my team. This is my franchise. I'm the face of this franchise. And oh, by the way, let me show you why. As opposed to Jimmy Butler, who is a star. But it's not like it's LeBron James that called him out. It's not like it was Kobe that called him out or MJ or somebody, not even a Kevin Durant or somebody. We talking about Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, mad respect and love for him. He's an all-star. He's a big-time player. But Jimmy Butler calling out Karl-Anthony Towns is not an excuse for Karl-Anthony Towns to be struggling on a basketball court. I want to hear that.
It's not about calling out and therefore he's struggling. It's about the chemistry's not good. And you just said it. Jimmy Butler is not LeBron James or Kevin Durant. He is an incredible player and story in the sense that he comes out of nowhere to become this defensive stopper who doesn't need the ball and then somehow goes from there to a 20-point-a-game plus scorer who's an all-star. Great for Jimmy Butler. But he ain't LeBron or KD. He's not an MVP caliber player. And as a result, if the chemistry is souring between him, and it soured right away, and the franchise, who is Karl-Anthony Towns, guess who the odd man out is?
Let me ask you a question. Jimmy Butler, after last night's game, is averaging 14 shots a game. That's like, I think Jimmy Butler's averaging like 15 shots a game. Karl-Anthony Towns is averaging 14 shots a game. Let me ask you a question. Whose fault is that?
You saying it's Karl-Anthony Towns? You
damn right. You damn right.
He's the primary ball handler on the team.
Excuse me. You trying to tell me that Thibodeau only calls his number a certain amount of times a game, like 14 times a game? You trying to tell me that it's Jimmy Butler's fault that Karl-Anthony Towns only averaging 14 shots a game?
I don't blame you for missing this because it's nuanced. Listen, if you frame it as a binary choice, right, it's either this or it's that, then does Karl-Anthony Towns, is there some culpability there? Of course.
Well, that's all I'm saying.
That's not the point. The point is, if you have a situation where the chemistry is not right, Of course there's two sides to blame, but which part are you going to extract? Who are you going to take out? The future of the franchise or Jimmy Butler?
It's not about taking anybody out. It's not like we're saying Karl-Anthony Towns needs to go. The man just re-upped. He's got an extension. He's the face of the franchise. He's going to be there for years to come. The nuances is what you focus on because that allows you the license to not have a damn point. I'm going to make one for you. When you are the face of the franchise and you are the star of the franchise, give me the damn ball. I watched Minnesota last year in the playoffs. I watched them sometimes during the regular season when Karl-Anthony Towns was a stud. During the playoffs against Clint Capella, who was sitting across from me, Molly, lamenting how Karl-Anthony Towns was playing? Who was saying, don't make me get tape? Who was saying, hold on. Who was saying Karl-Anthony Towns has to want it, he has to demand the ball and embrace the challenge? Was that you?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's
all I'm saying.
Here's the difference. It may be that when you make Karl-Anthony Towns...
There's another nuance. It may be. What is, man? How about is? Give me is as opposed to what may be.
No, you're saying is or is not. What I'm telling you is in this case, there is nuance. It may be that Karl-Anthony Towns, as the face of your franchise, as the centerpiece, ultimately is a dead end because of what you're pointing out. But,
gentlemen,
with him, there is the possibility for greatness.
I respect that.
With Jimmy Butler, you run into a dead end.
I respect that. My apologies. I was wrong. You were right, Max, because I thought on first take, we talk about what we think is, as opposed to explaining the nuance of what
I just told you what is.
No. We said what is. I said what is. You talked about what may be. That's the difference. Let's move on.